Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain, back for some more Dungeons & Dragons Online. So for this quest here, it is our third and final part to our Evening Star Chain 3 quest line. Now in order to access this, you do obviously need to first complete Chain 1 and Chain 2. Then you want to head into the Demon Web. Now this area is massive and it is full of paths, some of which dead end and you can't actually progress. In order to get around, it is easiest to just hop off the edge and it'll teleport you. One of the locations is over here, and from this location you can actually just head up, can then kind of down the ramp and right to the quest entrance here, which is a rift between worlds. Now this one is a little interesting the way it functions, so I am just going to go on Elite. That way we can give ourselves a little bit of better healing. So the first thing we're going to want to do is summon our hirelings. Now on top of the hireling, I'm actually also going to summon a second hireling, which is just my Onyx Panther here. And I'm going to have the Panther just on passive, sitting here at the start of the quest. Now, once we're in, obviously you do want to get all buffed up before actually progressing into the quest. Now, there is a main reason here that you do want a designated person. So, I'm using a hireling for this. Now, be careful using a hireling. It can be tricky, as I'm sure you guys know well enough. If you're this level and using hirelings, they tend not to want to listen. So, we'll get to more about how and what's going on there once we get to that part. So, as soon as you're buffed, you want to actually head forward and start taking out these guys here. Now it does have a kind of a web strand here. Now you'll notice you cannot actually shoot through or any of that stuff. When you approach, it will disappear, but only approach from this side. So once you go through here, the path will shut and it will lock you in. So if you haven't summoned a hireling or anything like that, you're kind of SOL at this point. Unless, of course, somebody does have Dimension Door, but as you can see, Dimension Door and Teleport do not actually function here. So, you kind of, again, like SOL if you haven't done it here at this point. So from here, I'm just going to head through. And you will have some enemies popping up there. They're going to kind of rush at you and just fall straight down. Now, if you do have range, I definitely recommend taking them out from up top. It's so much easier to kill them when they can't really hit you. Though they do have a couple of spells, overall it's not too terrible. There we go. Now falling down. So now that they're dead, we want to head off east, and again it's kind of the same thing. We're going to have some enemies down at the bottom there that we can actually target beforehand, as well as some breakables. I should also have another one down there somewhere. But we also have a collectible here, which is on a ledge. Now once you actually get down to the very, very bottom there, it will spawn in the enemies. There we go. Once everyone is dead, we can grab any breakables that we've missed. And then we just want to proceed. Now, as soon as we proceed, you'll notice right at the top there, we have some dretch. We also have some casters on our bottom level here. Now, the reason the casters are actually on the bottom here rather than up top is they actually all used to spawn up top. However, the casters, being a range type character, typically didn't want to run down, and the door here doesn't open until everything is dead. So if you were a melee character, you were kind of stuck, as they would just stand up there and shoot you, never actually coming down here to as they were intended to do. Now from here we do want to progress a little bit deeper in. We're going to have a few more breakables. And as you see, once you approach the ledge, or the barrier, it spawns in a wave of guys. Kind of our last hurrah before the actual end fight starts. As you can see, kind of a short quest, though the end fight is a little tricky. Alright, so here we go. So you're going to want to first just head down quite a ways. We got some collectibles, and yeah. So before we go any further, that wall right there, the Eberron Rift, what you're going to need to do is, there's going to be the boss, he's going to spawn in. He's going to want you to heal the rift. Now in order to do that, you will have to click on the rift. Doing so is going to take X percentage of your hit points. So if you're with a full party of people, it is nice to be able to spread that. So say party member number 1 touches it the first 2 times, party number 2 grabs it the third, so on and so forth, however you want to break it up. This is actually why I've brought in the Onyx Panther, because what I can do is actually have him invisible, as he does have a fairly decent evasion save and a reflex save, and with him being invisible, he is fairly hard to see by the enemies. So I can actually just leave him at the rift for him to keep healing the rift. So if you want, each time he does so, you can watch his hit points and you'll watch it drop. So the other point is, at this point you'll notice we only have Vandal. If we actually hop over here, we have our last couple of breakables to give us that ransack. And here we go, we're going to get going. So the rift is going to come in. Gonna kind of call in the Panther, gonna kind of call in the healer, also invisible the healer, and yeah, so here we are, we're gonna stabilize the rift. So it's gonna start off with just some waves of dretch coming from there and coming from up there. Now you just need to kill them. Now there is no technical safe spot, as you can see. Basically they can get you wherever you are. Now once everything in the wave dies, that's where it's going to drop down the barrier here, and you're going to want to click the rift. So there we go. Each time you click the rift, if you are invised, the invis will wear off, and again it will spawn in the next wave. Same thing, once everything dies, next wave.
The barrier has gone down again. It won't stay down for long.
So again, each wave, as you see, we've done 2, we've got 6 more to go. It is fairly difficult. Again, and if for whatever reason you do not or are not able to complete and touch the wave in time, what will happen is he's gonna basically chastise you for it, and then he's going to actually force you to replay that same wave over, obviously increasing the amount of fighting indefinitely if you're not able to pull it quick enough. Now, as you notice, you do get an optional if you are able to essentially pull it the first time on each wave, so you don't actually have the like have to repeat any of the waves. Now, ooh, there we go. So yeah, obviously, whoever you have pulling the wire, definitely want to make sure is able to pull the wire. Isn't webbed or anything like that. So it does seem Shira had grabbed that one. So again, once he goes down, go ahead and have your designated person. So we got our... Oh, Shira's doing it again. So you'll notice their hit points are dropping still. But yeah, you can use the hireling to get them. You can do all sorts of little tricks. Typically when I'm soloing, obviously I don't want my actual health being lowered. So we just use the hirelings. So there we go. So once you're down to your last one there, and once you've actually completed your last one, then the giant Dragoloth is going to actually hop down at you, and then it's going to have to be a big battle between him. That guy's tickling a little bit. So there we go. So we faced each test only once. Now, once we get to this point, it really doesn't matter what our hirelings are doing if that we're on the rift, as obviously that optional is completed. So typically, again, what I will do is I will worry about taking out the trash, dragging enemies away if need be, as I can just hop away. And going until I can, again, take out the trash and just focus on heavily on the boss themselves. Here we go. Oh no. Well, not that I want her on him on the hireling. Alright, so here we go again. Now, once he finally dies, we'll be able to get our end chest loot, which can drop some named items. And as you'll notice, a few accommodations here as well. Once you've done all that, what you're going to want to do is head up to the giant golf ball here and select the Orb of Lolth, and that will actually give you quest completion. Now once you've done that, if this is our third and final quest, then you're going to want to return to town, turn in, which is actually what we'll be doing here. So I'm actually going to quickly use the Key of Evening Star to just head there real fast. Then we're going to go ahead and turn in the quests, at which point it flags you for the raid. So we're going to turn in here. And once you've finished turning in, you're going to actually have Elminster appear in the corner here. And he will be the quest giver for the raid if that's what you're wanting. And again, we have our chain turn in here for another little extra, which as you see can drop some named items. Now the raid turn in loot, the quest chain turn in loot is bound to character on acquire. The other ones throughout the quests are bound on equipped, so it's kind of a dealer's choice. Anyway guys, thank you all so much for joining. It's been a blast, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.